Hello, everyone. How are you? Are you finding yourself suddenly single and things didn't work out in life like you had hoped that they would for whatever reason? Whether someone has walked away and left you and dropped you flat when you've done your best and yet they've left you. And you that have lost your loved ones. You know, that old saying, till death do us part, we don't even pay attention to that. When me and my wife were married, we were married for eternity. Why? We didn't believe in death. We didn't believe in dying. We didn't believe in getting sick. Did you? Oh, we didn't even think about it, man. We were so much in love. And I tell you what, you remember that song? So in love are we two. No one else but me and you. So in love. So much in love. And that's true. That's true. Now, you elders like me that have lost your loved ones, I know what you're going through. I understand. And we are getting along without them. It's something that's very hard to do. Getting without her has been one of the roughest things. I cried for 5.5 years when my wife died. I'm serious. It was like buckets of tears. I'd go in Walmart because I had to learn how to do everything myself. And I'd see some of the things that she used to buy me on the shelves. And I'd bust it out bawling right there, man. I mean, to tell you, it was something, but people were nice to me. They didn't make fun of me. It's as if somehow they understood what I was going through. And these were strangers. But God's been good to me, and I know that God will be good to you. But getting along without her, how does one get along without them by her side? How does one pick up the pieces of a shattered life, one that has literally been destroyed? And it's all the pieces are at your feet, and you're looking, where to from now? And it's nothing but loneliness. Well, I'm coming up on 7 years. It's coming November 28th. My wife will be deceased for 7 years. And yes, occasionally I cry, but not like I did before. Because I realize that she's not here suffering like she was. She had cancer, went in her brain. She was going blind. She was going deaf. She had 3 tumors that were put in her brain from a drug, they call it experimental drug called Xloda. And so far, everyone that I know that has taken it, they developed 3 identical tumors that kill them. My sister had breast cancer. They put her on Xloda. It killed her. My wife had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma disease. They put her on Xloda after 7 years, just like they did my sister after a 7-year period, and they killed her. You know, so here we are without them. And we look around and how do we face tomorrow? How do we face the tomorrow? All the people that you used to know, they don't want anything to do with you now because you remind them of their humanity. You that people have walked out on and left you flat. People don't want anything to do with you because you're suddenly single. You're on a different level, a different plane than they are. And you're wiser than they are. You widows and widowers, the same thing with you. We have come to a different chapter in our lives that God has placed in our lives, though we did not ask for it. We did not want it. We never dreamed that we would be blindsided by death. I mean, me and my wife had plans. When I retired, we were going to move to Panama. We were going to be expats. They got a program called Pensionado and everything. I mean, you get insurance, a free medical insurance. Man, you got cheap living back then. But now the billionaires, United States of America, they have rushed over there and they have bought the lands up, the condos, the apartments, the houses. And now, you know what they're doing now? They're going to rent them to you at United States prices. Oh, isn't that nice of them? Don't you want to rush off, move to Panama and pay the same thing you pay here? You folks living in California and New York, you know exactly what I'm talking about. This is what greed does in our world. And unfortunately in our lives, we are surrounded by it. We've got greedy politicians in Washington, D.C. that have destroyed everything. One was behind President Trump on worldwide television, tearing his speech up and tearing everything up. Wanted the world to see him. This was a career politician that's been in government for over 50, 55 years and has been insider trading. Her and her husband have over $350 million stashed away in different accounts overseas, Switzerland, everywhere, from illegal insider trading. And you know she's never been arrested. Why? Because they bribed off the Justice Department. You people know all this. I don't need to go into it. But these are the things. Greedy people causes all problems. And you widowers and you people that are suddenly single, you have to get out from where you were living. You're suddenly single and you're suddenly out in the cold. You got to start over, all over again by yourself. And the rent is going up, 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 up. Every time you turn around, groceries are going up, up, up. The economy's smashed. Things are happening in our world that people are saying on the radio. I was listening this morning, they were talking about possible World War III breaking out in the Middle East. And I don't mean just between Israel and Iran. I'm talking about them pulling China, Russia, and the United States right into it. And you know the United States is going to have to go nuclear. You know that. We have no alternative. We don't have hundreds of millions of soldiers like China does. We don't have the hundreds, well, the millions upon millions of people that the Russians have. It's going to be a nuclear war. None of us want these things. Don't get me wrong. But I'm just saying, getting along without them, it is very, very rough. But after a while, like I said, it's come up on 7 years, you kind of start enjoying your own company. I have no intention of getting married again. I'm too old and ugly. You know, no woman would want me. And what do I have to offer a woman? I mean, you know, it's ridiculous. And I don't even think about it because all I can think about is my kitten. That's my wife. I called her Kitten. I also called her Cookie. She always made the biggest, best chocolate chip cookies, you guys. They were that thick, and they were, oh, listen, she made chocolate cakes. Listen, I lost what I cannot get back, and I know you have too. You're in the same boat that I am. We're all in this together. And you precious people that people have used you and dumped you. I've heard so much about, I've talked to 20-year-old and 30-year-old. And the guys and the gals just suddenly up and walked off. Found somebody else. Whoop, I got me somebody else, and here they go. Let them go. You don't need somebody like that in the road. And don't live with somebody out of marriage. Don't do that. Don't fornicate. I mean, I'm not telling you, commanding you. I'm just suggesting, because let me tell you something. Whether you want to hear it right now or not, with what you're going through, God is watching us. His eye is upon us. And when you're knocked flat like this, the last thing you want in the world is to anger God. Seeing it as an awesome thing to fall into the hands of an angry God. We don't want him angry. We want him pleased with us. You know, that's what Enoch did. And you know what? One day Enoch was walking. He always talked to God. He prayed. He had a daily prayer life every day. And he loved the Lord. And he was just talking to God every day. And one day, you know what? God said, hey, Enoch, come on home with me. Come on with me, Enoch. And they walked off together. Right into eternity. Isn't that something? The one that created us, the one that made us, the one that designed us, says to you, come go with me. I like your company. You've made me happy. Come go with me. Wow. What a blessing. Can you only imagine it? Wow. It's amazing. But we have to continue. We have to get up from all the debris in our lives, all the shattered remnants, and we have to walk away. We keep looking back, you know. Like I said, I'm coming on 7 years, and occasionally sometimes I look back and I cry because I miss everything. I miss her. I called her Diane and the cats because we had baby Red. He was a gorgeous red Bengal, big one, huge. And we had little baby Snowball, little bitty tiny dwarf white cat. And we had, at one time, we had Shadow, my giant breed German Shepherd that was gorgeous. And we had Missy Cat. And then Shadow and Missy Cat died. And then we got baby Red, Snowball. And I couldn't wait to get off work. Everybody said, hey, where you going? Boy, in such a hurry. I said, man, I'm going home to her. I'm going home to my wife, Diane and the cats. I can't wait. I said, man, she's making all kinds of things. And she'd call me on the phone. She'd say, honey, how about some bacon tomato sandwiches? Oh, listen. She would cut the tomatoes about that thick. And they were big old sandwich-sized tomatoes. We had a garden. I grew some of the biggest, prettiest tomatoes you could ever lay your eyes on. And she would go out and gather them and cut them fresh. She would fry up that bacon. She'd get that toast just right. She'd put the mayonnaise on it. Oh, listen. She made big old pitchers of iced tea. And oh, I'd come in the door and she had my bath water ready. I'd go in there and take my bath, get out and shave. That's one thing. I shaved every day. Grandpa shaved every day when my little wife was alive. Now I do it twice a week. And I used to bathe every day too. She made sure I did. But I'm not working like I did before. I used to drive a forklift and everything out in the sun all day long. And in the winter all day long. And I sweated a lot. And therefore, she had my bath ready as soon as I got home. Well, after I did all that and cleaned up, I'd clean out the bathtub and everything, put my dirty clothes hamper, get everything ready, finish my shaving. And I'd go in there and I'd sit down on the couch. She'd come in here and put my food. We had those trays, you know. She'd put them in front of me. Boy, she'd bring all that food in. She had me a cup of hot tea. And because I always said I drink hot tea. Now I've been drinking coffee. Do you have your coffee? I got mine. I got some Jacob's coffee. It's from Germany. I tell everybody about this. I share it with them. And you can get it on Amazon now. You don't have to have it shipped from Germany anymore. You can actually buy it on Amazon. So I ordered me one from Amazon. I got it. I couldn't believe it. I got this one. I got another one. I put it back there in my little pantry. But listen, after a while, I know you that are going through this. After a while, you're going to get where you enjoy your own company. Now listen, I've known of widows and widowers that have went on ahead and got married. They said, I can't face the world by myself. And I tried to talk to them. They wouldn't listen to me. They wouldn't listen to Grandpa. Ain't going to listen to you. Nope, ain't going to listen to you. I'm not going to go through this world lonely. Well, they're wishing now that they hadn't got married. Let me tell you something. There's some of them, they got married and their gun collection was stolen. Their coin collections were stolen. Their bank accounts were emptied. Credit cards were created and charged up to the max, and they come in one day, nobody's there. Then they get all this stack of bills in the mail, and they start getting phone calls. Credit agencies coming after them. I mean, let me tell you something. It's sad, but, you know, not all are Israel that say they're Israel, if you know what I'm saying. In other words, you know, they're not what they seem to be. And they'll put on to you. Why? We go right back to what I talked about a little earlier. It's called greed. And it's just the way it is in life, friends. We have these people that we have to contend with. And you've got to forgive them if you want to be forgiven. And you've got to pick up all the pieces and straighten out all that mess that they've created. No, I don't want that. I don't want that. I don't want that. And a lot of people say, well, why don't you just have a woman friend and you can get with her? You know what happens between a man and a woman. And I don't want that. I don't want to anger my God. I do not believe in fornication, and I'm not going to do those things. And they, well, you don't have to just go out and talk to them. No, no. Remember that song came out years ago? One thing leads to another. One thing leads to another. And the next thing you know, you're up on Cripple Creek. She'll send you up, they'll send you up on Cripple Creek. They'll put you up on Cripple Creek. You ain't gonna get out of there with no paddles. Why? Because they take their paddles with them. They take them and hock the paddles, and there you are in Cripple Creek out there on a raft. You can't get out of there. You don't have any paddles. You're out there rocking out there in the middle of that big old huge lake. No way back to shore. So you got to hold the raft, hang over and kick with your feet, trying to get to shore, and you got a long, long way to go. So we don't need to create problems, people. Don't do it. It's rough. Learning to do the things that we never wanted to do. We never wanted to face these things that come along in our lives. Getting along without her. Getting along without them. Never to hear their voice again. Never to see their smile. Never to hear their laugh. Hey, listen, please hit the like button. And I'm asking you to subscribe to my channel. And listen, I know how you feel when you find yourself suddenly single. Whatever life events happen in your life, walked out on, or death comes to call, we suddenly find ourselves alone. But after a while, you start enjoying your own company. You start learning to get by. And you got to take baby steps. It's not something you can do instantaneously. But hey, I'll see you in the next video. You precious people, have a good day. And you enjoy your coffee. I'm enjoying mine. Hey, this Grandpa Hickory. Goodbye from now, from Texas.